it's me up there. We changed the format a little bit. Thought it would be a little bit more active and lively to give a bit of a talk internal team. So let me just introduce ourselves a little bit. My name is Chris Zhu. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sonic, and I have my co-founder and CPO, Chief Product Officer here, Alan, and Kinza is our Chief Marketing Officer. We're here to talk a little bit about SonicSVM, but I would actually love, for Kinza to, get this started.
Yeah, I know this is a developer stage. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, but wanted to talk about some topics that might be of interest of you guys. We have launched mainnet early this year, also TGE'd, and it's been a lot of work, not only kicking off, but growing the ecosystem. And we actively working hard on onboarding developers as well as incentivizing users. So wanted to kind of go over high-level overview of that, but also maybe do some Q&A. That said, some highlights that I wanted to mention is we just finished up our hackathon. It's a pretty big prize pool with $1 million in stables and Sonic tokens, and we had over 250 projects that submitted to our hackathon. Had a lot of exciting projects. Happy to mention some of them. And we are seeing some of them come live now. So want to talk a little bit about that and how you guys, if you guys are building exciting projects on the Solana ecosystem, how you guys can easily take advantage and tap into the resources we have. And I think what's incentivized for you guys is to get traction for your product and how we can help you achieve that through Sonic.
All right. Well, I think one of the largest questions we get from the developers, and also we were just on main stage sharing this, is actually the differences between deployment on mainnets as well as Sonic. And there weren't that many SVMs prior to Sonic launching, and now Solayer, Fogo, and then 00 over there talking a lot about kind of leveraging the existing SVM networks. So just backtracking a little bit, in the last year or so, Anza was able to decouple runtime and client code base. And now we have the SVM API, which allows you to just tap into Solana for consensus and build, the runtime environment and configure that on top of it and just focus on execution. But I did want to, just highlight that for developers building on any SVM like Sonic is a really simple switch of RPC environments, and all of the programming tools interfaces are very much the same. And that allows you to test and deploy on top of Sonic with very low cost and very fast speed while keeping the entire experience relatively similar. And I wanted to, throw it back to Alan here a little bit. And just highlight some of the innovations happening on our chain currently, especially when we're trying to launch some of the hackathon projects. What are maybe the innovations behind Creambad, the 404's standard behind Chosonic, and some of the other product innovations there as well.
Yeah, before I share some innovation project, I want to also share some infrastructure ecosystem. Like Chris mentioned, that the Sonic is fully SVM compatible chain. So all the programs you deployed on Solana can also be deployed to Sonic. And also we already officially support Metaplex programs, Backpack Wallet, Orcas Wallet, Baby Wallet, different exchange wallet already integrated on top of Sonic. And also we have the Pace network. If you have the requirements for the Oracle, you can directly use the Pace network to encrypt the data, the pricing data. And also we do have the Helios RPC, have our own official RPC for the developers to use or test it. So we already have the very comprehensive developer toolings for different developers to use. If you try to build the most innovation project on top of Solana, we are willing to give you the best support. Back to the question that as for the innovation project, we do see a lot of different hackathon winners. They are trying to build some very interesting project. So for example, the recently very famous project in our ecosystem is called Trionic. Their vision is just expressed just because we are in very dynamic macro condition. They just want to express that you do not have to be panic, just chill on Sonic. And they want to combine the active rarity with the meme core liquidity together. But based on the existing research, they found that it's hard to reutilize the Metaplex MPL404 or SPL404 to do their project because they cannot combine the rarity with the liquidity. So they just try to build a new standard called Chill 404 to launch a new kind of the asset. So we just try to help them to build this protocol and help them to think about how to launch this token and NFT collections. So I think that's the first innovation project I want to share with you guys here. Another project is named the Cream Pie. So they noticed the issue regarding the token launch. They found that in the existing token launchpad, there are two kind of the launch type of the launch. So first is fixed price launch. That means the project just give a specific FDV. That means you just have a very specific token price to purchase the token. And another way is through the bonding curve. That means the insider can just increase the token price with more and more people to purchase the token. So they just release a new token launchpad based on the Dutch auctions. That means the token price will be adjusted based on the depends on the supply and demand, and will adjust dynamically based on a Dutch auction price. So I think that's very interesting to launch a new launchpad. So the thing I want to share with you guys is that we already see some projects, they try to build some innovation things on top of Solana. They just not directly fork the Solana things to Sonic. They just try to build something new on top of Sonic. So I think that's a very, very great thing that we can see that some very great developers try to do some different things on Sonic. And we just try to provide the best developer toolings for all of these developers. So if you have any issues or support from our side, we definitely want to support you guys to do that.
Yeah, and I think an overarching question here is, what is possible then on Sonic that is not possible on Solana? And obviously there's a lot of the similarities and ease of porting. But I think overall, when we were building the infrastructure of the SVM, we looked at some of the highest costs on top of Solana. So for example, when you're deploying a DEX contracts or building a DEX on Solana, the deployment cost might be 10 to 20 SOL across the board. And your rent fees can also can be higher at 5,000 land ports, for example, and initializing accounts cost a bunch, overall. So testing on mainnet overall allows you to kind of slows down a little bit and it'll cost you some SOL. While that is not, not true on top of Sonic, we're configuring some of those parameters to have lower rent, and we're increasing banking threads so that we can process at a faster speed, and that will allow your users to have better margins and your trading experience to be also cheaper on top of Sonic, and some of those innovations then come in. I do also have another question for Kinza, where, for developers, what are the type of marketing supports that we're really expecting from Sonic SVM that leverages the liquidity on top of Solana? How are they launching their assets? What is, your advice to, developers on top of Sonic?
Yeah. So if you're a new developer trying to launch your first project, I think tapping into all the resources that is offered to you is the best option. And we're here to, of course, tell you about the resources that we can provide. I'd say, as Chris mentioned, in terms of asset launches, you can launch your asset both on Solana as well as Sonic, and we have a bridge support Hyperlane that connects and bridges between the two liquidity pools. So in terms of liquidity access for the users, it's pretty straightforward. If they're using Backpack Wallet, they can access both Solana, Sonic, bridge over. In terms of go-to-market strategy, I think that's where we can add additional support for you guys here, both on incentive side of things as well as kind of the publication and go-to-market strategy side of things. Incentive side is definitely something that's a little bit more straightforward. We have a mainnet campaign going on where we incentivize users for transacting on our network, and we can create specific campaigns and quests for specific dApps. So we have one going around for Sega, which is our ecosystem DEX, and we'll have come talk to us, and we can create that for your specific dApp as well. I think, if you're a new builder with a new app looking to get some traction, this can be a great way to get initial user base and even liquidity on top of your application. So yeah, we were really excited to provide this for new builders. And on the go-to-market side of things, we have both, of course, I'm the CMO, so I'm happy to jam with you guys on how to have a successful product launch and maybe share some of the wisdom or secret that has worked for us and some of the ecosystem projects. And I also think certain infrastructure, marketing infrastructure tooling that's unique to us is something that we're able to share as well. We had past year, we've been working and operating this TikTok app layer where we have applications that get distribution through TikTok. This is something that no other ecosystem has tapped into. Fortunately, given our team's background, Chris previously working at ByteDance and some of our other team members as well, they're able to, we created this distribution strategy across TikTok to tap into new user base that are not only, of course, Web3 interested, but non-Web3 users as well to come on board onto on-chain. And there's, of course, chain abstractions mechanisms as well that we can utilize, but it's a huge, huge opportunity to tap into a new user base. I think we onboarded over 2 million or got exposure to a lot more users through this strategy, and happy to make this available for builders on top of our ecosystem as well.
Yeah, just to explain that a little bit, right? The user experience that we built out on top of TikTok is basically a mini app, wallet, game center, discovery center for applications where your campaign for your specific project is then directly tied into Sonic incentives on top of this TikTok mini app. And then we basically index all of those transactions and look at, which application is generating more transactions, how much tokens we're giving them, and set up those parameters. So I think the next step that we very naturally want to then achieve is, off of something like TikTok, can we then build something similar to what Kaido was able to do, index all of the mindshare, the awareness, the impressions, the views of the TikTok videos, and then possibly, launch assets off of those, or give higher incentives to projects or builders that are gaining more tractions and using Sonic tokens to incentivize that type of behavior. So instead of incentivizing liquidity and DeFi projects, maybe we can use Sonic tokens to incentivize attention activity off of these original social media channels. One other thing that I want to talk about is our new initiative, focusing on some of the more AI native initiatives across the board. There is a push in the Solana ecosystem towards towards the MCP servers. It's grooving a little bit. And MCP servers currently are getting around 200 to 500 invokes on top of Solana, on a daily basis. And Noah and the team is working very heavily on the list of MCP servers that we can support. However, the deployment for MCPs or model context protocols is currently only limited to the likes of Cloud 3.7 Sonnet or Windsurf or Cursor, and you would have to be able to deploy as a developer to invoke those MCPs. And for the end user, currently there's no good GUI or graphic user interface and no good client-facing interface for these functionalities to be invoked, which is also why the usage had been a bit lower. What we foresee is that we can build the client-facing store, the extension store, so to speak, for MCPs, and connect that all the way into the Jupyter MCPs, which then talks to the agent and communicates what is the highest yield, what is the best routes, and then completes your transactions. So anyone who is building AI native products within this audience, feel free to also talk to us about that. We're expecting to launch something very new in the next 2 to 3 months. And Alan, anything else that you want to share?
When's the whitelist for Chilonic?
I think for Chionic, they will launch their NFT collection maybe in the mid of May. Yeah, so I can also share more details regarding this project because I just take some of my time to help them regarding the protocol. What I think what they are trying to do is that they can allow all the community members to hold the NFT collections. But if you want to try to sell the NFTs, The thing that you need to do is convert the FT to the split to the different amount of the token based on the different rarity, and you can just trade it the token on the AMM pool or the on the DEX pools. So I think that's a very great way to create a potential marketplace. In the traditional FT marketplace, what do you sell the FT is that you just give a order book. You just input your sell amount, and another users just purchase your FT based on your amount. But I think based on the chill for protocol is that you do not have to have a order book systems. You can directly convert your FT to the token and sell your token on the liquidity. So I think they just provide a very good way to create a non-FT marketplace-based marketplace. So I think that's a very interesting protocol in our ecosystem. And also in different game scenarios, you can utilize this protocol to build your in-game FT items, and it's very easier for the users to convert the FT to the tokens. So I think that will satisfy some different gaming scenarios for the players to play. I think that's a very interesting project that everyone can just have a try in the next months. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to give a bit of a summarization on Sonic's vision and Sonic's kind of synergy with Solana. We all know that Solana is focused on a validator-based economics on the consensus layer, while also providing the ability to tap into that consensus layer through the likes of SVM APIs and such and so forth. So Sonic, as one of the first SVMs out there and the first L2 that is focused on bringing additional use cases, in our case, attention capital markets and gaming into Solana, we're bringing additional liquidities for those use cases. That we can tap into that validator-based economics and make ourselves app-based economics. So developers like yourselves, we are willing to share the app revenues that we generate and the gas fees we generate off of your apps directly back to the applications. And that is available on some of the EVM chains like Sonic Labs, for example, rolled out gas fee referrals or rebates to the developers. But on Solana, because the economics itself is so validator-centric, we want to give more incentives to the applications themselves. And similarly, these additional innovations off of the liquidity and rarity, these are ways for devs to think of additional ways where, in gaming, that's when you need to convert between NFTs of different rarities to, for example, commodity items like iron or ore or different kind of mines, and build that into the products themselves. So we think that Solana plus Sonic or consensus layer plus app layer is going to be bigger than some of our competitors in the, Move, Bera, alternative VM ecosystems, and we are here to empower Solana in this way and form and bring additional liquidity in. We have a couple minutes left, but we can save you some time for you to go enjoy the music next door and listen to some more speeches. But really appreciate you guys having us here, and check out SonicSVM and check out our new initiatives and the new projects that's going to launch. Chose Sonic in May, launching very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.